There is a global banking monetary system that is owned and controlled by a Swiss banking cartel that operates from the Bank of International Settlements, also known as the Central Bank of Central Banks, that creates a banking regulation known as the Basel Accords that controls the banking policy of all the central banks across the Western world. And this Swiss banking cartel has indebted most nations into a financial system of unrepayable and unsustainable debt. This includes the United Kingdom, which operates with its own debt management office that is responsible for managing the UK's debt, for managing the budget and borrowing of the UK government as a corporate body that trades insolvent, and where the Crown, state and its government are overseeing a debt-based financial system that has enslaved your life, where the leaders of your state do not have financial sovereignty over banking and monetary policy because they are tied up in debt bondage and following the dictates of a foreign interest. And that is fact, not fiction. Greetings and welcome. My name is Russell Paul Arthur. I am the creator of Grace Sovereignty Academy, an academy that restores sovereignty to the living men and women of Earth. And right now, you should be very concerned about the financial welfare of your country, about the systemic debt of a banking monetary system that has captured your life into a system of financial slavery. You should be concerned because the value of your life has been converted into money. Money that comes from a debt-based and debt-fueled system that works on the fundamental principle of financial slavery, where people must become a slave to money and debt in order to live. We all live within a world that has been established with a banking monetary system that enslaves people to money and debt, where people must borrow money in order to fund the most basic needs in life, such as a home, a car, or a business, where borrowing money means to be indebted to a lender, where the time and energy of your life is lived in bonded service to a debt. To pay back a debt, you must become a slave to a job, a slave to the money, as you slave away to pay back the debt. A slave is one who is bound to another. A slave is not free. A slave must conform and perform to the terms and conditions of bondage. If your life is bonded to the terms and conditions of working to earn money to pay back a debt, then you are a slave to money and debt. Your life is in bonded servitude to money and debt. Money and debt is your master, and we all to a lesser or higher degree serve the master of money and debt, because this global banking monetary system requires us all to exchange time and energy for money. We must all commit our life to earn the money and pay the debts to fund and sustain our life. We are all interconnected in this global banking monetary system where money itself is created through debt. Debt is created when the government borrows money from central banks to create public funds, which is why they have a debt management office. Debt is also created when the banks loan us money so we can purchase the basic needs of life. And in the past 4 decades, the government has overborrowed, overspent, and overstimulated the economy with money and debt. The banks have overprinted, overlent, and over-indebted the people of the nation with money and debt. Over the past 4 decades, as a result of several major financial crises and failures, most economies worldwide have been flooded with money and debt, where the amount of money and debt has exceeded the actual value being created by the money and debt. And this practice has devalued the money, inflated the economic prices way past the rise in the levels of income, which has caused a significant increase in the cost of living that has become a cost of living crisis for the majority, where most economies worldwide are operating on a principle of low standards for high prices, where the value of goods and services is going down as the prices are going up, where the quality of life for most is getting worse as people work harder for less. We are all now living in a financial shit show of rising prices and lowering standards. And this has happened because we have a global banking monetary system that was created to benefit the few who own and control the system, that rewards those who make money from money without producing anything of value, that promotes and supports entrepreneurial predators and parasites who place profit before people. This global banking monetary system that controls the finances of most countries in the Western world has become so manipulated, corrupted, abused, extorted and distorted that it no longer operates with fairness, stability and balance. This entire banking monetary system is like a runaway train heading towards a cliff edge. It is out of control, burning out and beyond retrieve. It is heading for a financial carnage. And we can all see this carnage unfolding slowly in front of our very eyes. Most people are holding on for dear life, with unrepayable debts, with unsustainable cost of living. And everyone is locked into financial slavery, a slave to money and debt. Being a slave to the money and debt is to chase the illusion of one day I will be free and happy. And yet, does anyone ever arrive at this place of freedom and happiness? Does anyone ever break free from the chains of financial slavery? Because in this world, it matters not if you are rich or poor, if you live the low life or the high life. If you have a need for money or a greed for money, whoever you are and whatever you do, your life is committed. Your mind, time and energy is conditioned to the worry and pursuit of money. Even if you have a career that you are passionate about, if you're doing well and you can afford luxury, comfort and choice, even that comes at a hefty price, and the price tag is your life. In this banking monetary system, we are all living in some degree of financial slavery. We are all bonded to a financial system of working to earning to servicing debt. We are all bonded to financial obligations and responsibilities. And until we actually break free from that financial bondage, we are not truly free. There is no freedom when you cannot walk away, when you cannot choose otherwise, when you cannot live in the moment and do what you truly want to do. Now, I'm not sure what you think, but I personally find the proposition of spending a huge portion of your life, your limited time on this earth, in service to money and debt, I find that's an abomination of life. I find it extremely disappointing and sad that we have a global banking monetary system that operates on the basis of financial slavery, that has enslaved the minds, time and energy of people into money and debt slavery. Because we are all capable of imagining and creating a banking monetary system that is far more superior and beneficial, that could offer more ease and more peace of mind. A system that does not involve debt bondage or financial slavery. So why don't we? Why are we stuck with this financial turd of a banking monetary system? Well, there are two fundamental reasons why: wealth and power. The global banking monetary system is a coalition between bankers and government, where those in positions of power and financial capacity, where those who own, control and manipulate the banking monetary system can increase and sustain their wealth and power, can profit from the lives of humanity by making money from money through charging interest and tax, whilst offering nothing of real substantial value to society. And so long as the bankers and governments are motivated by the greed of wealth and power and pulling the strings of banking and money, the people of this world will never have a financial system that provides true financial freedom. So, what is the answer? How do we as human beings move beyond the financial slavery of the current global banking monetary system? How can we all gain financial freedom? How can we all have the financial means to live our best lives without being indebted or enslaved to a life of chasing money and paying debt? For that, we would need a new system that provides financial sovereignty for every human that uses the system. Financial sovereignty is where you have access to unlimited funds, is where you have absolute control over your funds, free and independent from any other authority, which is the opposite of the current banking monetary system that has been established with limited access to funds and restricted control over funds. This means your ability to get money has been limited by the banks. The banks limit the money you can borrow in accordance with your banking history, your income, your credit score, and your ability to pay the money back. This means unless you are a hard-working person, a good earner and a good repayer, unless you are devoted to a life of wage slavery and debt slavery, you cannot borrow huge sums of money and you cannot get ahead in this life. The banks also restrict your control over funds. They offer you restricted services in terms of what you can deposit, withdraw and transfer. The banks also have the power to freeze your account. The banks have a lot of power over your money, and that's because the money in the bank that you think is yours is not actually yours once you have deposited the money into the bank. If you do your research, if you read the banking contract, if you truly understand how deposits work, the moment you deposit money into a bank, the bank claims and owns the deposit. The bank legally owns and controls the money. This means the bank can loan your money, invest your money, and even keep your money with bail-ins because it really is the bank's money. Until that is, you reclaim the money back when you withdraw and spend the money. But getting back to the point, the banks limit and restrict the money that is available for you to borrow and spend. In this world, human potential, the ability to create and do things of value, cannot be fully expressed without money. We need money to buy resources. We need money to create things. We need money to market and sell things. Without money, our options of being a creator, the options of producing value, are limited and restricted. Less money equals less creative potential. More money equals more creative potential. The value we can create in this world is limited to the amount of money that is available to us. If there was more money available to more humans could express their potential to create more value in this world. With more money, we could create a much better world that offers more freedom, peace, and prosperity for more people, which is the opposite of the current setup of a banking monetary system that controls the flow of money within an economy, that limits and restricts funds, that bonds people to wage slavery and debt slavery. So how do we transition from financial slavery to financial sovereignty? How do we all get access to unlimited and unrestricted funds so that each one of us can unleash our creative potential to live our best life, to produce the greatest value to society? To gain financial sovereignty, we must start again with a new way. We must create a new medium of value that is far superior to what we have now. Rather than banks and governments controlling the medium of value, we need a medium of value that is controlled by the people. Rather than the medium of value placing people into debt bondage, We need a medium of value that can be acquired without bondage, where you can access funds without you being indebted, without you owing money. We must first recognize that in this world, money is a method of value exchange. Money is a representation of value. Money allows us to exchange different types of value with different people. Money allows us to increase value with nominated units to set prices and profit. Money is a medium to exchange, charge, earn, build, invest, and multiply value. However, the money itself does not have any intrinsic value. It is worthless paper, coins, and digital units that we use to measure and represent value. So we must stop treating money itself as a real value when it is not. The real value in this world comes from you. You are a creator of value. You are the one who creates and provides goods and services. You are the one who offers real, tangible, and substantial value. You are the one who makes, gives, and generates value. Now, on the basis that money is just a representation of the value that we create as humans, we need a new medium of value that is linked to value creation and provision. We need a new system that actually incentivizes people to create and provide value with a purpose and mission to benefit humanity. To create products and services that helps, supports, and nurtures human life, that offers high standards and great value, where people can have unlimited access to funds when they are focused on great value and high standards. In other words, the better that you can show up and perform in society, the more value you can give, the more you will be rewarded, the more financial capacity you will have, where you are only limited by your ingenuity and capacity to create value in this world. This also means that you cannot gain access to funds unless you actually create something of real and tangible value. And this prevents people from manipulating and abusing the system. This prevents people from making money from money. This prevents people from charging interest and taxes. This prevents economic inflation where the prices of goods and services increase, but the value does not. We could have a new medium of value where your potential in this world is linked to the merits of what you create. This means you can gain new funds, not based on your creditworthiness, not based on your ability to pay money back regardless of what you create, but you can only access funds based upon the merits of what you create and provide to society, where the new system rewards those who become, do, and give the most to society. Imagine who you could become, what you could create, what you could do, where you could go, and what you could have when you are incentivized and rewarded for raising your standards, for being innovative, for expressing excellence. Your potential as a creator and provider would be unleashed, and life would be very different and much better for you, your family, your community, and the world around you. Whereas the current financial system that controls the access and flow of money does not care about value, standards, or conduct, does not care if what you do helps or harms society, but only cares about the profit margin. The current financial system is more about the numbers of what you do and less about the merits of what you do. Hence why when you look around at society, we see high prices for low standards, we see poor quality materials and ingredients, we see toxic goods and services. The only way for us to improve this situation, the only way for us to have a resurgence and renaissance of widespread prosperity that is focused on the merits of high standards, is with a new medium of value that operates on the principle of merits. We also need a new medium of value that outlaws interest and taxation, that outlaws people's ability to make money from money without producing anything of value. And this would prevent economic extortion, this would prevent inflation, This would prevent high prices for low standards. With a medium of value that cannot be taxed or charged interest, you as the creator of value keep 100% of the value you create, where no other authority or organisation can parasite off your back, where no other authority or organisation can take a piece of your value for doing nothing of significant value in return. With a medium value that has zero interest and zero tax, the value of the medium can never be inflated and distorted. This means the medium of value remains fair and balanced, and thus provides a fair opportunity for everyone to enjoy prosperity, because prosperity is linked to the value you create and provide. You can only increase your wealth when you increase the value you offer. You can only gain access to funds when you have the intentions and plans to become a creator and provider of real, tangible and substantial value. And this means there can never be a class of people who work in finance. We're talking about bankers, lenders, insurers and traders. The people who manipulate, expand, distort and devalue the medium of currency, who make money from money, who make money without producing real value. For us to transition from financial slavery to financial sovereignty, for us to transition from a corrupt financial system, we must create a new medium of value that is not part of the current global banking monetary system. We must make a conscious decision to no longer participate in a financial system that is causing our own demise, that is causing so much financial hardship, that is degrading this world with low value, low standards, low conduct and low morals. We must choose to do better. And that is exactly what we are doing here at Grace Sovereignty Academy. We are teaching, guiding and supporting our private members on how to enact lawful procedures to unwind from the bondage of a rigged and corrupt banking monetary system. We are creating and using our own private medium of value that is intended and designed to actually serve the best interests of our sovereign members. With our own private medium of value, we are unleashing the creative potential of our members so they can create and live more expansive lives that are enriched with peace and prosperity and with freedom from financial slavery. We have invented an entirely new medium of exchanging value known as the merit radiancy, where our members can gain access to funds, can create and exchange value based upon the merits, based upon the standards and quality of what they create and offer, where prosperity is incentivized and rewarded for those who demonstrate, provide and achieve good deeds and good results. We even provide our members with a university that teaches the knowledge and skills in how to increase personal wealth through the merits of excellence and innovation. If you would like to learn more about our new merits radiancy, on how we are transforming the way value is created and exchanged, on how we have moved beyond financial slavery to financial sovereignty, then you are invited to qualify for a free 60-day trial of our Grace Sovereignty Academy, where we have an entire masterclass that teaches you everything you need to know about the future of creating and building value in this world. A future that puts you in control of your creative potential. A future where you can create a life of peace and prosperity. And if you feel this is something of interest, then please do get in touch. It would be my pleasure to chat with you. Take care for now.